Hello everybody, Horst here again. I have another video for you this time. It's again going to be PvT, myself against Radium Zors, who is another Master League player. This is a strategy that I've been seeing a lot of other Protoss use, such as Minigun. I've seen In Control use it a lot. I don't know if they're using it exactly the way I'm doing it here, but it seems to be the same principle. But it's a 3-gate expand into some kind of other tech. In this game I chose to go Templar tech, which includes Dark Templar. So we'll see how that works out. Start off with your standard, just basic PvT build where you have a 9 pylon, a 12 gate, 14 gas, a 16 or 17 core, and a 15 pylon. All your standard stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary. I see the Terran's walling in, so it's possible he's going for a tech build. You really can't tell what the hell he's doing with this, so you're going to have to send some kind of early poke to scout his wall in. He could be doing anything with this. A good strategy to break this would be a 3-gate Stargate, but I'm not doing that in this instance because it's a little risky. It's kind of all in. So we'll go with a 3-gate expand, which is not very risky at all unless he goes Banshees. But you can usually tell in time to get an observer out before the Banshees arrive. But as your Zealot is making, you want to throw down your second gas. This is a 2-gas strategy. A lot of Terran might misread this as a fast tech build because you get a second gas. No, it's 3-gate expand. So you keep building, you build one Zealot, you build one Stalker. With those you're going to go poke to see what the Terran Wallen's got. Let's look at this from my perspective only. And they're going to go up and see what the Terran's doing. Back in the base, you throw down 2 more gateways. Surprising, given the name of the strategy, 3-gate expand. We'll go poke up, see what the Terran is up to. And here we see what? An SCV building a bunker. And the bunker there and the supply depot there means he's probably going for some kind of expansion build. So I'm not really too worried about Banshees or any kind of early pressure like that. And a ton of Marines, which means he doesn't have any tech. Still, the Marines are extremely powerful, so they kill my Zealot. And I try to run away. So I fall back. Now that means because he's expanding, I can safely expand as well. And I'm not entirely sure he's expanding, but it's a really good guess that he is. So we'll throw down the Nexus, then some pylons over here so we can warp in. And we'll just get 2 pylons out. You want to make 2 pylons at a time, not just 1 pylon, because you'll get supply blocked if you make only 1. So you want to make as many pylons as you possibly can at a time, usually 2 or 3. Then we'll wait for another warp in full of Stalkers, and we'll go attack the Terran. Because he's fast expanding, he won't have too much that we can't deal with. We should be able to do some damage and then fall back. And warp in a proxy pylon here so you can reinforce. Now I've seen some Protoss players go for adding like 4 more gateways at this point, just busting through the Terran. I'm not a fan of that strategy, it seems too risky to me. But we attack. The Guardian Shield should be over there. This is not exactly the greatest micro, but you get the idea. And you force field, keep Marines from running away. You kill them in little pieces. Now the purpose of this is not to kill the Terran. It's not going to kill him. The purpose is to put pressure on him, keep making Marines, keep making Marauders, keep him from attacking. You don't want him to attack. While you're doing this, you want to throw down a Twilight Council and eventually a Dark Shrine, and move probes over to your expansion. Start mining gas. My idea here is you keep him on these low-tech units, and then you throw Dark Templar at him. Because you kept him on Marines and Marauders, he'll probably not have any kind of factory. He probably won't have a starport up, so it'll take a while to be able to move out. Keep him contained in this 2-base situation. And we'll poke in again. Again, try to keep the reinforcements away from your guys. Just run away, poke, and run. That attack wasn't overly effective, but I'll get away without losing too much. And at this point, I'll have to fall back. There's nothing more I can do. And the Dark Shrine goes down. Unfortunately, I didn't realize this, but the Terran does scan this. In about 4 seconds, my Shrine does get scanned. And of course, you're on 2 base, you throw down more gateways. And there he sees the Shrine, so he's going to have turrets up. I don't actually see this scan in-game, so this is going to be interesting watching the DTs fail horribly because he'll know they're coming. Oh well. Check production tab. The Shrine's almost done. And of course you want to keep mining gas, keep making probes, keep making pylons, avoid the supply blocks like this. And you can see he's throwing up 4 missile turrets because he knows what's coming. And we're going to just try to warp in a proxy pylon over here to warp DTs in. The effect that DTs will have is that they'll be deflected, they won't do any damage to his actual base. However, he'll be stuck in his base, he won't be able to move out. Because unless he has a Raven, it's going to cause some scans to move across the map. Because he has to make sure there are no DTs to kill his army. You don't want to walk into that. And of course, because you already have the Twilight Council, you can get quick Zealot legs. This strategy does not really rely on Colossus at all, like a lot of other strategies, so you don't have to build them as quick. And there go the Templar. The original plan was to send 2 to his expansion, 2 to his main, split them up. But we can see the Dark Templar walking, and missile turrets. They're all dead. Well, one of them gets away. Barely. He lives to tell the tale. Now, we have to switch over to something else at this point. We're closest to High Templar. So we're eventually going to throw down Templar Archives, and I'll throw down 2 Forges as well at this point. Get the 2 Forges out for mass upgrades to keep up with the Terran. He's already got +1/+1 coming out. So you're going to need to keep up with that. And of course, at this point, because I know he has to tech to a Raven, which might take him a little while, hopefully, I feel pretty safe in actually taking a 3rd base, so I'll expand over here. My army isn't as big as I would like it to be, but I don't really think he can press out just yet, so I'm not too worried about a counterattack. And now the plan with this here was to hallucinate Phoenix and fly it over here and warp in up top, but he did spot it, so I had to cancel that. So we get the dual upgrades going, we get this Templar Psionic Storm going. The Psionic Storm was going to even the odds here. His army's better than mine, but with Storm usage, you can usually just mow through that. I know he has a lot of infantry. I saw a lot of Marauders. I saw concussive shells. And there he scans my army again with another perfect scan. Thank you, Terrans, for having that ability. And you can see him moving out. Now, because I have both watchtowers, I can see him moving at me from a longer range. And I'm going to move back. Obviously, I don't want to engage this directly. So what my favorite tactic in this situation to do is move 1 Templar up at a time and just storm his army. Templar dies, but does a hell of a lot of damage before it does. Then we'll do the same thing again. Another storm. And we'll do it one more time. One more storm. Then we engage. And the last storm I have goes down and just move through the Terran. Dark Templar is actually in here doing some decent damage. And we'll just merge to an Archon. You always want to merge any High Templar that don't have any energy left. The merging makes an Archon, which is relatively useful actually. Archons are not bad units. Of course, you want to keep getting your Khadarian Amulet, you want to keep getting your Forge upgrades. Money got a little high during the battle because I was busy aiming those storms, not really paying attention. But after any engagement like that where you win, you can safely take another base. I'm going to take the gold base in this case, so I'll be on 4 bases. I think Terran is only on 2 still. I will eventually have to check this one. Even if he's expanding to a 3rd, as long as I'm 1 base ahead of him, it really doesn't matter. So you want to keep your tech up, keep your expansions up, keep your money down as low as you can, keep warping in more units, just keep everything going pretty well. If we look at the Terran side, yeah, he's actually expanding right now. You can see he's still going with more Marines, more Marauders, more Medevacs. He's starting to go to Mech, which is a good idea. Mech is great against Templars because it doesn't really do much damage. So he's switching over to that. But again, another important point is you want to keep both these watchtowers at all times so you can spot his army moving out. You do not want to have his army, say, poke around through here and just destroy your 3rd here. You want to be able to spot that, so this watchtower is critical. I like keeping pylons at the watchtowers in case, like, I see a dropship or something move by, I can warp into some stalkers, blink over and try to kill it. Of course, you do want blink for stalkers as well. Blink, a very powerful ability, which I will research eventually. Allows you to reposition your stalkers at random. Now, I know he has this expansion here, and I do have Templar, so I figure I'll just harass him by going behind his base and dropping some storms on him. I don't really want to send too many Templar, just 1 or 2 at a time. And there it goes. This does a lot of damage, but he does move them away in time, so it doesn't really kill any. And the Medevacs, with their super balanced healing mode, just heal everything. So that's great. I do know he has a lot of Medevacs, though, so I know drops are possible. So we want to be extra wary of that. It's a good idea to keep Templar in your base to prevent the drops from actually hitting you. Over here, just keep warping in units. My supply is a little lower than the Terran's right now, but it doesn't actually. I think I finally overtook him. But it really doesn't matter if you're lower as long as you have higher tech. Again, with the Templar harass, this is going to be deflected by his infantry here. I'll still get a storm off, waste some medevac energy, and yeah, put the fear of Templar into him so he's psychologically thinking about what'll happen if he moves his army. But because I know he has a decent chunk of force over there, I'll just move in and kill it. And I see a drop moving around the back as I go, so I gotta be ready for that in my main. Just keep an eye out for that. It will happen eventually. You gotta expect the drops. So a good idea to prevent that drop from actually doing any damage would be to warp in a couple of high Templar in the back here. Just throw them along there so as the dropships move in, you can feedback them. Feedback is great. Storm his workers from the ledge here. He's moving a small part of his army in to try to rescue his trapped part of his army here. He's trying to crash me with Banshees as well. Fortunately, I do have a couple of cannons to defend this. I warp in High Templar here and High Templar here, 3 at each of my bases, along with the massive High Templar in my main army, which does a great job mowing through his forces. But you can see the value of the Templar here, these 4 dropships. He, of course, picks a pretty bad landing spot. He's completely penned in here. But he loses 2 dropships instantly. I think some of them had guys in them, and he can't even move because he picked a really bad landing spot. But we'll just warp in some more Templar, storm some more, and warp Archons after they've stormed. That should take care of this. Maybe a couple more Zealots. Nothing too much. But that cleans up the drops pretty well. Just having a couple of Templar in the base will do a great job. I hear he knows I'm here. I know he's there. But I'm fairly sure my army's bigger than his, so we'll just push out. And the value of Blink right here is you just get the hell out of the way of your Stalkers, your Zealots, so they can move forward. Storm everything as you go. Really easy to mow through if a Terran doesn't have EMP or anything like that, and he does not. EMP does cost a lot of gas, and he's spending all of his gas in medevacs and Ravens and Thors and all that stuff. Ghosts, a lot of Terrans don't like to get him. It's pretty common, actually. I don't know why. They're amazing units, but... And here you can see the Terran harassing my other base. These Templar here show their value. Boom, boom, and boom. There. Just killed a Thor, a bunch of infantry, some medevacs, all with just a couple of storms and a blink while I'm decimating the main of his base here. So yeah, the value of this is definitely in there. Just to recap the strategy, overall you start off with a 3-gate expansion. You pressure the Terran a little bit as he expands, try to keep him contained in his base. If he goes for a 1 base 3 racks Marine Marauder build thing, keep it concave at the base here. You would put force fields on the ramp continuously to cut him in half if he tries to move out. You can keep him contained in there for a long time actually if he tries to go for 3 racks while you're on 2 base. That's great. After you expand yourself, you get the Council. Then you would get your Dark Shrine. Push in with Dark Templar while teching for Zealot legs. After your Dark Templar harass, you switch to High Templar, and after that, you can basically just play the game like a normal macro game. Just you'll have Templar tech to begin with, which is really powerful. But keep warping in units to just kill the drops, and eventually he will be forced to GG out. Right now, he's down over 100 supply. I do at one point get Colossus because I figure he might get EMP eventually, and I want Colossus tech in place just in case. He actually didn't get EMP, but doesn't hurt to be prepared, right? And here is the final battle where his minuscule army meets my massive one, and I mow through him. Everything dies. And that's GG. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, just feel free to post. Contact me on BNet, whatever. I usually respond. Thanks for watching.